Okay, so this one then. Aurelia, the law above. A nice casual Boros commander. 5 mana 4/4, Flying Vigilance Haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. So far so good. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia the Lobo deals 3 damage to each of your opponents and you gain 3 life. That's where the fun begins. So, backstory for this deck then. A friend of the channel, Maya, suggested this as a commander. Built in the particular way that this deck is built. You might be able to guess from Hunted Lamassu being visible here. And she didn't have the time to build it herself, so I figured, go on then. I'll see what I can do. Figured out a deck list, and set came out. I finished off the deck. I really like this deck. It still needs a couple of upgrades for the mana base at some point, but like, that can wait. The important thing is that when it pops off, if you sequence things properly, you feel like a fucking genius. So, let's get to the 99 then, now that we've seen what the commander does. Not a lot of tokens in this one. Mostly because I just use, dry erase tokens usually. So, we have Hunted Lamassu comes into play. Target opponent gets a 4/4 black horror creature token. Nice and useful. Alliance of Arms. Joint Forces. Underrated keyword, Joint Forces. Very fun for group hug decks that turn out to not be quite so group hug. I used the blue draw spell with the same keyword in Greek's Bearing Gifts, link in the corner. So Alliance of Arms. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player puts X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way. Basically, everyone gets big board. Everyone can pay towards getting big board, but everyone gets big board all the same. Ox Drover. Can't be blocked by Oxen. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent creates a 2/4 Ox and you draw a card. Weird little card draw engine. Very fun. Death by Dragons. Each player other than target player, which weirdly is probably going to be you more often than not, creates a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Hunted Dragon comes into play. 3 2/2 white knight creature token with first strike on the target opponent. Again, you get a hunt. You get the big body on board. Someone else gets 3 tokens, which hey, is exactly as a proc Aurelia. If they swing with them all, we'll get there when we get there. You probably figured out the other half of this deck by now. Varchil, Betrayer of Gildor. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they get that many 1/1 red survivor tokens, so either your opponent's control can't block, and they can't attack me or a planeswalker I control. Which means that they're not goaded, but there's no reason not to attack with them. Very fun. Solid early game card this to get some tokens on the board before you get your commander out. The war games. Absolutely perfect for Aurelia. Each player creates 3 tapped 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. The tokens are goaded for as long as the war game remains on the battlefield. Which means that in a 4-player game, everyone creates these tokens, and you're going to get draws on all 3 of your opponent's turns. Unless they manage to remove this, but at the same time, there's usually better removal out there. So 2 and 3, put a 1/1 counter on each warrior creature. And finally, you may exile a non-token creature you control when you do exile all warriors. But why'd you do that? Let everyone keep the boards they've got. Genesis Chamber. Basically, whenever you play a creature, you also get a 1/1 mirror. Very fun. Combat Calligrapher. This is, Silver Quill? One of the Strixhaven ones? Just, casually in the Boros deck, but why not? Includes counterattack you or planeswalkers you control. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, they create a tap 2/1 white and black inkling, flying that's attacking that opponent. Note that things created attacking don't proc Aurelia. So if they swing with 2 at someone and the third one is the inkling from this, then it won't proc Aurelia. We can now still in the proxies, such as Agandra Uprising.
Hire a samurai.
Anyway, yeah, I'll create a build words for that part. You create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens of vigilance. They gain menace and haste till end of turn. Each opponent creates X -1 2/2 white samurai creature tokens of vigilance. If you live outside the palace, how are you supposed to protect your ship from criminals? Right there in History of Kamikawa, I'd like to point out that is Billboard's channel icon as a set icon. You know, if I'm doing proxies, I'm doing them properly. A crone horse. This is a fun one because you can bargain with people and offer to give them a horse. Because in no context, they don't realise that means that everyone but them is getting creatures. Anyway, 0/4 defender. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent puts a 1/1 white creature token to the battlefield. And when it enters the battlefield, an opponent gains control of it. I don't believe it targets, which is interesting. Immortal Obligation. Return target creature card from an opponent's graveyard to the battlefield under their control with a duty counter on it. For as long as that creature has a duty counter on it, it's goaded, can't attack you or opponent you control, and can't block creatures you control. Thank you, Orzov, for hooking me up with that. Spectacular Showdown. Very fun win condition. Put a double strike counter on target creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put in it this way. But for the overload cost, put a double strike counter on each creature, then goad each creature that had double strike counter put in it this way. Everything is goaded, everything has double strike. Good luck. Life of the party. One of the last few cards I managed to track down for this. When it attacks, it gets plus X +0 until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. And when it enters the battlefield, if it's not a token, each opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. The tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. Very fun one. Especially with first strike, trample, and haste, because it basically means that it's going to get damage through. Everyone is going to get them, and if you're giving everyone a big board, they're going to be huge. Goblin Diplomats. Weakest card in the deck, probably, but it's here because it's funny. Each creature attacks this turn available. They can attack you. They very much can attack you, but it's just funny that way. Take the bait. Peak Shenanigans card. Cast only during an opponent's turn, then only during combat. For all combat damage that will be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn. Untap all attacking creatures and goad them. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Basically means that someone swings big at you. No, they don't. Not anymore. Disrupt Decorum. Goad all creatures you don't control. Classic. Right of the Raging Storm. Creatures in Lightning Rage can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player creates a 5/1 red lightning. 5/1 red lightning element, 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rage. It has trample haste at the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice this creature. Basically, everyone gets things that have to swing again. Goblin Spymaster. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that opponent creates a 1/1 red goblin creature token with creatures you control attack each combat of Fable. Yeah. Very fun. Vengeful Ancestor is here more for the second part than the first. Basically, whenever it ETBs or attacks, goad target creature. Whenever a goad creature attacks, deals 1 damage to its controller. You're going to be giving everyone a big board and goading them. So with this and your commander on board, your opponent's going to swing with 6 or 7 creatures, lose 6 or 7 life from this, 3 life from the commander. You gain 3 life and you draw a card, and both your other opponents also lose 3, just for good measure. Talk to the Rampart, another legit proxy. Note the set icon this time is a Holy Hand Grenade. Thank you. Goad all creatures your opponents control. Until your next turn, those creatures can't block. Yeah, very fun one. Baloth Baratle, Entertainer. Creatures your opponents control are powerless and Baloth Baratle's power are goaded. Doesn't do anything particularly useful, but whenever a goaded attacking or blocking creature dies, you create a treasure token. That's where the fun begins. Bloodthirsty Blade. Equip creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. 1 mana to attach it to a creature opponent controls, activate only as a sorcery. Sorry, I have to. Anyway, Sound with Drums. Enchanted creature is goaded. If it will deal combat damage to an opponent at play, it deals double that damage instead. And it can return from graveyard. Some more Doctor Who now with Dave the Moon. Choose a creature card name, then goad all creatures with the name chosen for Day of the Moon. So, basically, the goal of this deck is to give everyone a big board and then goad it, so they have to attack each other. Which means that you will also be drawing cards and draining them. As a result, because, Aurelia, very fun commander, not cheap. 5 mana at the upper end of what I like to run as commanders, but still very funny when it works. Faithless Looting. Draw 2, ditch 2, flashback 3. Feel a possibility. Ditch 1, draw 2. Ditch 1 or sack an artifact, draw 2. Temple is under attack. Either creature control gains something land a turn, useful sometimes, or you and target opponent each draw 2 cards, which is Mark. Ditch 1, draw 2, and also some nonsense about a roll token they don't care about. Crash through. Creatures I control gain trample to land a turn. More importantly, it's a 1 mana card draw. Now we get on to the interaction suite. We have Acrobatic Maneuver. Exile target creature you don't control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. And draw a card. Basically, this is a lot of flicker. And a couple of board wipes. Fumigate, board wipe that gets you a shit ton of life. Flicker of Fate, flicker target creature enchantment, Chroma's Blessing. Creatures control gain protection from the colour of your choice until end of turn. Which isn't bad, but it's mostly in there for the cycling ability of just 1 mana draw a card. Path to Exile. Exile target creature, opponent gets a land. Ephemerate. Exile target creature you control, return to the battlefield with its control. And then do it again at your next upkeep. Vanish into eternity, yeet a non-land permanent. Nice and simple. Other Journey. Exile target creature, begin next end step, it comes back, and it gets a 1/1 counter. Pegasus Guardian, which is basically just here for the other part, for the instant. Exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield and basically flicker target creature. You can sometimes cast a Pegasus from it, but that's not what it's there for. Grasp of Fate. Steal something from each player, stick it under that. You're golden. Solve Beyond Reality. Yeet something and flicker something. Cloud Shift. Flicker something, 1 mana. Aura Blast. Blow up an enchantment, draw a card. Nolan's Annex. Creatures got attack your planeswalkers you control unless the controller pays 1 white mana or 2 life. Slip on the Ring. Exile target creature. Basically flicker target creature, ring tempts you. Unbreakable Formation. All your shit is indestructible till end of turn. And potentially gets counters and vigilance. Morg Infestation is a very fun removal piece when someone already has, like, a go-wide deck that cares about a certain creature type. Destroy all creatures target player controls. So much for all those knights you've got. For each creature put into the battlefield, put into any graveyard this way, put 2 goblin tokens into play under that player's control. Treat these tokens as 1/1 red creatures. Morg Infestation. Janky old card, very fun. Like, honestly, that's half the appeal of Commander. You get to play the weird janky stuff that, like, only works in this format. As you can probably see from the paw here, I have help for this part. Swords to Plowshares, classic removal bit. Past in Flames, instant sorceries in your graveyard gain flashback to end a turn equal to mana cost, and with also has flashback. Fairly standard, basically. Lets you easily flicker stuff again, as does Isochron Scepter. Any of the 2 mana flicker things, you can just boop, flicker something, and you're golden. Knighthood, which I got for 35p, not knowing it was signed by the artist. I'm not complaining there. All creatures control gain first strike. Ghostly Prison. Everything costs 2 to attack. Goblin War Drums. Creatures you control have menace. That's the Oracle text. This one's the older text version. Non's Decree. Whenever 1 or more creatures an opponent controls deal combat damage to you, that opponent gets a poison counter. Whenever a player attacks, if 1 or more players being attacked are poisoned, the attacking player draws a card. Again, discouraging attacking you, encourage attacking everyone but you. Brave the Sands. Creatures you control have vigilance and can block twice per combat. Call for Unity. At the beginning of your end, every opponent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a Unity counter on Call for Unity. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each Unity counter on Call for Unity. Very fun. Onto the ramp, then we have Commander Sphere, Boros Signet, Arcane Signet, Sol Ring, and then Hot Pursuit is in here basically as a hard win con. where if it's just you and one other person left, suddenly goading matters again because goading becomes stealing. But under discipline, another sort of optional win con one, tap all creatures your opponent's control, creatures you control gain life until end of turn, which means that no matter how big a board you've given someone, you can still swing through it. Onto the mana base, we have Sundown Pass, Rugged Prairie, Evolving Wilds, Boros Garrison, Forbidden Orchard, Sunhome, very fun one, give creatures Double Strike, Battlefield Forge, Reliquary Tower, just because, statistically speaking, you're probably going to need the unlimited hand size. At some point, I might swap out the Commander Sphere for a Decanter of Endless Water as well, just for good measure. Command Tower, Fury Calm Snarl, Clifftop Retreat. The Boros Path Coach is Needle Verge / Pillar Verge. And finally, Mountain. And Plains. Quick look at the rest of the deck box contents. We have this little penny sleeve with legit versions of Rampart and Iganjo in there, just in case. And the only token I actually have for the deck is the One Ring and the Vigilant Samurai from Iganjo Uprising. At some point, I should probably get some of the rest of the tokens this can potentially create, but I'm in no hurry. I got those dry erase ones. So, this deck, very fun. Like, if you get the sequencing right, you feel like an evil genius. There was a 3-person game I was in a while back against a friend of the channel, Josh, who was likely in something Wooburg. I don't recall what, but he's a big Wooburg player. Statistically speaking, it was either Tiamat, it was either Wooburg Tiamat, it was Knight with that one Eminence commander, or it was Corvold. It's I've seen use those decks quite a bit, unless it was Golgari Elves and Abomination Llanowar. Anyway, I was up against him and Vi. I don't recall what deck Vi was using. Basically, I got to the point where everyone was kind of low on life, and I worked out that I could swing out and kill Josh. But on Vi's turn, it would just kill me, because I'd be out of blockers at that point, and everything would be goaded. So instead, I didn't attack. Which meant that Josh was still in the game, had to swing at Vi. Dealt with a few of its blockers, all of his stuff is killed, a little bit of damage trickles through. Vi's turn, it has to swing at Josh and wipe him out, meaning that that all of its creatures are tapped down by the time it's my turn, and I can swing for game. Which, that kind of play makes you feel like a fucking genius, and this deck really enables that. It's about player management as much as board management, and it's incredibly fun to play. Highly recommended. Anyway, I'll see you next time, where I'll take a look at something much, much jankier, but also very fun. Yeah, upgrade trickery for this. Mana base, to be honest, I just want to get some better non-basics in there. Might do that next month, maybe a month after. We'll see. Anyway, see you all next week for something janky as fuck.